You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.
Welcome back to our MECM series. In the last video, we covered the secondary site, when to use one, and how it actually fits in the MECM hierarchy. Well, in today's video, we will look at the heart of MECM operations, that is, the MECM client. This software agent is what enables device management, policy enforcement, inventory collection, and much more. In short, this agent is the connection between your MECM and your end machine or endpoint machines. So let's get started. So what is MECM Client? Well, MECM Client is an agent installed on each and every device that communicates with the MECM infrastructure. This software, or you could say agent, receives the policies from your primary site or even secondary site. This agent actually also installs the application and updates. It also collects inventory data, report compliance and status back to the MECM servers, and much more. Without the client, a device cannot be managed by MECM, and that device will fall into the unmanaged device category. So, can you install MECM Client on a BlackBerry phone? Not really. The MECM Client only supports a particular scope of operating systems. That includes Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows Server 2012 and above. It used to also support Mac operating system with a very limited functionality, but even that support is gone from a recent versions of MECM because Microsoft wants you to use Intune to manage Mac devices. And how about Linux? Well, again, a very limited support is available from a third-party tools, or it was available from a legacy version point of view. So in short, most production use is focused on Windows environment when it comes to MECM. And it's quite enough because most of the organizations are using Windows environment. So now we know that if you want to manage a Windows device, you have to install a client agent software on it. Now, how can you install it? Well, there are multiple ways to install this software on that device. Now, in no particular order, the first method can be a client push method. Here, you initiate the installation directly from MECM console, where the site server reaches out to the client machine using the domain admin credentials and install this software on the computer. This is best suited for on-the-network devices with very predictable connectivity outcomes. Now, the second method can be group policies. Here, you can use Active Directory GPOs to assign and install the client MSI package at the startup or whenever they join the domain. This is again best suited for all the domain joined devices. The next method can be a manual installation, where you install the client. This is, again, just a software, right? So you can install this manually using the CCM setup.exe. That is the name of the file you will install, a setup file. Again, CCM setup.exe. Now, this can be done either by a script, command line, or just during the imaging process, where you create a golden image of an operating system, and before you create the image, you already bake in this client software. And then when you use that golden image to image, let's say, hundreds of computers, well, all those 100 computers already have the client in it. The next method can be the software update point. Here, you can install the client as a part of Windows update process using WSUS integration. Now, this is best suited for internet-facing or a low-touch environment. not zero touch, you still need some kind of control over those computers. So, well, there are so many methods with which you will install the client. The end result should be a client software installed on the computer and configured properly. Once you do this, your MECM will see those devices as managed devices. Now let's talk about the client components and actions of this client. The first one is the MECM Client agent itself. Well, this is the core component that runs as a Windows service and enables client communication, policy evaluation, and task execution. The other action can be policy retrieval. Here, the client regularly downloads policies from its assigned management point, which tells it what to do, or to install an application, or maybe just to enforce a particular settings. So all the orders come from this policy, and this policy is pushed from the management point. How about hardware and software inventory actions? Here, the client will collect detailed system data and report it back to the assigned site. This enables targeted deployments, license tracking, and compliance reports. This all can be done with the help of this secret agent installed on every machine. Not a secret agent, just an agent. Now, keeping those clients healthy is a key to successful management, and the responsibility falls on you. But here are some checks and tools you can use to troubleshoot the issues. Now, the first tool is the logs. Well, logs maintain historical data of all the activities performed by your client on the machine. And where will you find these logs? Well, you will navigate to the root directory of that machine, that is C. Then you will go to Windows folder, then CCM, and then logs. There you will find multiple logs such as ccm.exec.log, client ID manager startup.log, policy agent.log, where you will find your activities, and it will give you at least a head start to focus on the actual issue so that your troubleshoot lifecycle is reduced. Now, the next part is your control panel applet. If you go to your control panel, there will be an applet installed once you install the client, that is Configuration Manager. Now, in this applet, you can see the client status. You can also verify the site information. And you can also initiate some scheduled action. You can manually trigger it. For a help desk team, this applet is quite useful. Then if you move to your MECM console, you can check client health. The client health is shown as a nice laid out dashboard in MECM console. Here you can see the activities, inactive, or even unhealthy clients. Then you can also check the client notification and repair tools. You can use the client notification feature to trigger actions like reboot the machine, run the policy update again, and this can be done from the console side. So these are some tips and tricks you can use to make sure that your client stays healthy in your environment and the whole environment is managed properly. All right, now let's talk about client installation. So let's go to our primary site from where we will push the client. Again, you can also push the client from CAS. But remember, when you use the CAS dashboard to push the client, in practice, you're actually pushing the client from primary site. CAS is just orchestrating the whole process. It just tells the respective primary site what to do. So you can do it from both portals, but the actual work is done by primary site. So what is your MECM client? Well, if you go to your CAS, let's say, and then you go to your Asset and Compliance, click on Devices. Imagine, right now the client is already installed, but imagine there is no client on this machine. So you will right-click on it. Or why this? Actually, I will install a client on a machine with no client so that at least you can see the effects as well. So let's find one machine. How about our ADDS? So let's install the client on our Active Directory. Well, why do you need it? I don't know. I'm just showing you the demo. But in case if you want to install client on your Active Directory server, you can. So if I go to my Active Directory and click on Control Panel, look, there is no Configuration Manager here. Plus, if I go to the Start menu and look for Software Center, there is no Software Center here. So this server will become our test subject to push a client. So let's do that. So where is my ADDS? This is the server here. It is already discovered. So right-click on it and click on Install Client. Click Next. Here you will select from where do you want to push the client. So I will say install the client software from a specified site. You only have two options, primary site, that is Toronto, or secondary site, that is Montreal. There is no CAS. CAS cannot push any client. So I will say push it from our primary site, Toronto. Click Next, Next, and done. From your side, you initiated the deployment. That doesn't mean it is installed already. It takes some time. So let's go back to our ADDS. You will not see any change immediately. But if you go to Task Manager, then go to Services, let's wait for it. Perfect. So it took some time. For me, it took like 5-10 minutes. But eventually, you will see a service or in details, something like CCM setup. So that means the client installation just started. So if I go to file location of CCM setup, now you can see that your configuration manager is downloading files in this server, and then it will initiate the installation. And eventually you will see a configuration manager over here, as well as software center in this server. And over here in Asset and Compliance, in front of ADDS, you will see client status will change from no to yes and a green check mark. That means a client is installed. So now we'll just wait for the client to fully install. All right, so let's go back to our ADDS. And as you can see, now there is a software center. And if we go back to our control panel, let's refresh it. Still not updated. Let's go to here, Configuration Manager. So the client is now installed. So this is your software center where you will see all the available applications, updates, operating systems which you can install, installation status if it is installing in the backend or it is already installed, or if there is any issues. Then you can check the device compliance. Plus, you can also create your work schedule so that during your work schedule, no updates will be pushed. I mean, you will not be disturbed. Then you have your power management options, computer maintenance window options, and remote control options. So you can actually give, you can permit for remote control from your help desk department or from anyone who's using the CAS or primary site. Plus, this is your configuration manager. Here you can initiate the processes manually. Otherwise, it will run at the scheduled time. But if you, let's say you want to retrieve the new policies, you can select that and click on Run Now. So this will intentionally, not intentionally, it will actually start the process of retrieving the policy and implement it. This is the site. As you can see, this client is connected to Toronto primary site. These are all the components installed. This is information regarding this client, then the cache, configuration, and the network. Now, if we go back to our CAS, let's refresh it. So ADDS is still showing no client and there is no check mark here. That means the data is still not replicated. It's still in progress. So let's go to our primary side because it was pushed from the primary side. As you can see, ADDS client is installed and green check mark. And eventually this information will also be synced with CAS. This also shows that CAS just told primary side what to do. The actual job was done by primary side and the response will first come to the primary side. And this is why you are seeing this status change immediately in primary side. Eventually this will also get replicated to the CAS and you will also see it over here. Perfect, done. So your client is now installed. Now that wraps up our look at the MECM client, what it does, how to deploy it, and how to keep it healthy. In the next video, we will cover one of the MECM most powerful capabilities, that is operating system and application deployment. This is where MECM really shines in a big enterprise environment. So don't miss it. If you are enjoying the series, make sure to like and subscribe, and also drop your questions in the comment section. I'm here to help. Take care.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftatacademy.com. www.netsoftatacademy.com.